All right now.
Unless I get hired.
It's
you know.
my turn now.
Is that your new stage voice? Sounds like
Yeah.
Okay, Batman.
What about it?
sounds like you're gargling marbles.
Okay. Okay. To
Seriously, check out how it should have ended. They're fantastic.
You remind me of Toronto Batman. He goes up to people, it's like,
I have that guy on Facebook. He sends weird stuff sometimes.
You remember when he and the Spider-Man were like fighting over the course of an entire evening? The Toronto Spider-Man? Oh man.
Okay.
Watch the YouTube video, it's quite epic.
Anyways, back to the Comic-Con. Okay, so San Diego Comic-Con, for anyone who doesn't know and has been living under a rock, is the biggest North American convention in, well, North America. It is been in San Diego. It's been in San Diego since the 70s.
Ooh.
And as you guys were kind of sharing complaints, I was noticing a few things about things that you really shouldn't be complaining about for some reasons of the fact that you're just small now, but like you're the thing with the AC. When you get to something as big as San Diego, you will be praying for AC.
That's a fair
It gets so hot.
That was for the...
That's mostly because of climate change.
That's for people who come in. Like, people who are coming in to attend the conventions, of course you want the
Yeah,
AC
so
there.
did I.
But as vendors,
I had a giant tube.
Oh.
I have a vent blow on me for 3 hours while I was
As-
waiting to get in there.
But as vendors, usually we're used to the AC not being that high. Because like if they're gonna turn off the AC that much, they'll notify us the first day that to bring more clothes or whatever, right? Or notify us by email or whatever. AC is gonna be a bit rough. We didn't get any of that this year.
They probably didn't realize.
That's why we're like, you guys, you gotta tell us. Otherwise, we all suffer together.
The other thing I was gonna
Awesome.
mention was I totally forgot what it was.
Cosplays, swag.
Swag was actually a little bit lackluster this year.
Oh.
There was definitely some free comics, but one of the things, like I remember one year when I just got in and I got my badge, I got like 2 decks of Magic cards.
Oh, beautiful.
I didn't get nothing. All I got was my tag, then the 2 programs. And they give us a free bag, like the free bags that you see, the Comic-Con bags that are huge.
Oh.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of
bags.
it, the only real, like even the games, like I only got, usually games they'll give you like free shirts, so Darksiders, I got to play this shirt, and they had another shirt if you prepaid the game there.
Oh,
The
wow.
full game. The full like $60.
Oh, wow.
But other places like Assassin's Creed, South Park, I think at least 2 other games, which I can't remember which ones they were, you could not get the special shirts unless you prepaid for the game.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting. It's become a lot more business oriented, and our artist alley, that's where I go if I don't want to bump into people.
Oh, is that quiet?
I mean, there's still a lot of people, and you can still go up to the artists, but
Lackluster.
it's lackluster compared to the rest of it.
That's
A lot of what's happening now is like you used to be able to go and like get a whole like book full of blank pages. Like, can you do a sketch for me? Maybe like $20, whatever. If you had to pay anything, they don't do that no more.
Oh, why?
Very few, because they just a lot of them are just some of them are just jerks, and they just think they're better than they are. Some of them just don't do it for the fact that so many people just hound them.
Well, that's strange because you know when Udon sets up table in a fan expo, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know that whole curtain thing that like it's basically the piece of fabric that covers all the tables. It's the
Right.
one long piece, right?
Right.
Everybody draws on it, and at the end of the day, the volunteers get to cut it up and keep little portions of it. That's
Yeah.
part of their payment as volunteers.
Yeah.
Because you technically get paid nothing, right? But you get to keep the sketches.
Yeah.
So
And-
that's surprising.
I just remembered, it was actually your thing, because you were talking about a bigger convention space. Comic-Con actually suffers from the same problem. Because even though it is the largest convention center in San Diego, it cannot hold the amount of attendees that go there.
Right.
It just cannot. They need
That's
a bigger
jarring.
space. They need to do some massive extensions to that convention space.
Well, until and unless you're actually making Hogwarts, you're not going to be able to really.
They've done it
fit in-
over the last 12 years. It used to go up to like aisle 1,000. There's now 4,900
I've heard that.
in 12 years.
I heard that.
And it's still not
and it's
enough.
still well,
Because it keeps growing every year.
I heard what they do is
Yeah,
they increase the amount of days that the convention runs so that it can fit everyone.
It
But
won't
instead, it
matter.
causes more people to come. That's not.
Not for this one. It's always just been the 4 days and preview night.
Yeah.
And another thing they need to do, and I'm just getting the complaints out of the way, but this is easily the biggest one if you ever go to a convention. Exclusives there are very limited and
Oh.
very hard to get because lines, you will spend almost half the day, if not the entire day, in a line to get some of the really big stuff.
Wow.
There was a portal gun there that, even though the only thing it didn't do was shoot portals.
Oh wow.
5,000. There was two versions. One with a black stripe, one with an orange stripe. One sold out in about an hour, and the orange stripe sold out in less than half an hour.
Wow.
5,000 each.
Beautiful.
But they have a rule there that they just do not enforce, and that is exhibitors on preview night are not allowed to line up to buy any of it until the convention actually starts, and the goers are in there. The con goers are in there. 3 hours. The way the lines worked this year, I had to wait at 9 in the morning to get in line. I was like the 200th person in line or something. I had to wait 3 hours till 3 o'clock from 9 o'clock in the morning to get in. And then I had to get my badge and then line up and wait another 3 hours to get in. I didn't get in until about 6 o'clock
Oh my
when
gosh.
the official preview night started.
Ouch.
That's how the line. That's how the line starts. So I'm
But-
pretty immune to long lines
So you
at this
don't like
point.
the exhibitors being able to purchase things?
No.
Or...
Yeah, because some of these things are limited because they go
Oh.
straight for it and they put it on eBay. There were things on eBay, exclusives,
Oh my gosh.
3 days before the con started saying, I'm an exhibitor, I'm going to get it first.
That's strange because as a when I worked in the artist, well, not the artist side, but the actual vendors room in, like, let's say Fan Expo or like Anime North, we wouldn't do that because everybody's setting up right now. We wouldn't do that to like the people.
Hasbro-
We basically have breaks in between. We rotate shifts so that when we're working around the same time as congoers, so that like everything's always being attended to. It's just that two people are allowed to walk around at any given
Yeah,
time.
they can do that all they can. And I'm talking about like the Hasbro booth, which is huge.
Oh my
easily as
gosh.
big as your house, by the way. Wrapped around 3 times, 3 hours before the con even started.
I guess what they say about Canadians.
I live in a shanty.
I guess like our Canadian conventions.
Well, I
guess
meant square feet wise.
we-
Oh, okay.
I guess it's
I
like
live in a
unspoken rule.
shanty.
Like we don't do that. Like as
The
Canadian.
freaking booth is as big
Yeah,
as where
but,
I
But,
live.
like what we would do is like you know when you're lining up for like the little Lego Transformers last year at Fan Expo, we basically one person who wandered around coming back is like, do you have them? You're like, you should go line up now, and then immediately that person was shifted
Yeah.
to go line up. That's we did the it's like the unspoken rule. You don't wanna.
Yeah, but that's
you're
not
a fan
a.
too. Yeah.
Well,
it's really sad that San
but
Diego do
the
that.
but the attitude's different because
Oh, wow.
in the San Diego Comic Con has
You're-
been going on for so many years. There is a much
You
more
are also
revenue
dealing with
issue with
things
it.
that are worth a lot of money. They were
Oh.
giving away free Lego figures like this, only released at the con of Marvel characters like Wonder Woman, stuff like that. I think it was like Marvel characters. I gotta remember. Each one of these things,
Well,
the
Wonder
whole
Woman's not a Marvel character.
sorry, DC. They were Marvel characters. I'm sorry. I'm just.
It's been too long.
Yeah. Didn't get enough sleep last night. But anyways, each one of these things that you got for free at the Lego booth, I think the whole set is like $400.
My God.
That is what is going on because these things are worth so much money that people are just not caring about the rules and are just doing whatever they can to get it and as many as they can.
That's what they did in Japan too. There's right when you walk into the convention, they have like not for sale art books that they give you for free. Let's say from the creator of Black Rock Shooter, QK's like mini art books, right? They resell them here for like $80.
Yeah.
Up to all the way up to the hundreds. You shouldn't be doing that. It's free. Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's exclusives, but even the ones
Yeah.
that you pay money to. But anyways, that's the
Yeah, that-
complaints out
that's
of
Well,
the way.
okay.
all right,
Complaints
there's
done.
your complaints out of the way because
Now
this,
Yeah, just get
there
that
is
out.
a, there
not the
is
good stuff.
there is actually a reason why people go to this stuff.
Okay,
Now
this
that-
is easily the biggest convention in the world. Sideshow Collectibles easily has the biggest one. You get to see the beautiful things that they do and it's worth every penny. I'll see if I can upload pictures. I'll try to see what I can do. But they had like the Arkham City styles of like Poison Ivy, the Joker.
Oh, stunning.
They had these huge statues in full detail. These are easily the best statues you could get ever. Are the Sideshow Collectibles ones. They're beautiful.
Wasn't there one of Wayne? Batman and Bane fighting. I think I saw
Yep.
like an image of it on the internet.
There,
It
there's
looked
it
fantastic.
might have just been the Batman and the Bane just put together because they're all posed in these really amazing poses.
Yeah.
Like there's a Predator that's leaping and he's like leaping in the air. There's Sauron. He's like
the
gonna swing
mace up and
down.
everything. Yeah.
There's a lot of really cool things. That was one of the bigger things. They had the big Iron Man 3 booth. A lot of these things you could barely get near. Like there's a main pathway in the hallway that is just littered with people.
Why is he coffee colored?
I don't know. They had all the other Iron Mans. Good luck trying to get near it as soon as Robert Downey gets there.
I truly believe that he does not realize that.
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
Like-
You think he's actually Iron Man.
No, like I
Or he thinks he's actually Iron Man, I should say.
I think he thinks it might be real.
Yeah.
Because the way that he comes out and talks to people now about Iron Man and being Tony Stark and everything, I don't think he realizes that it's all fiction now. I'm kind of worried about him.
I have a small cousin that still thinks that Iron Man's secret identity is Sherlock Holmes. So it's okay. They think it's real.
Let's not talk about the Sherlock Holmes stuff. But anyways, back to the convention. There's a lot of stuff there. A lot of movies and places tend to share booths, and some of them even cross into different booths. There was at least 2 different things for Hobbit.
Oh, lovely.
Hobbit had its own thing at Warner Brothers, and then it also had this other thing. They had these 3 really well done trolls, and there's actually a lineup to get a picture with them, and they were like actual size too.
1-to-1 scale?
Yeah.
Nice.
They 1-to-1 scale, and they were kind of sharing it with I forget what other booth it was, but it was really neat. But there was like this huge like division. Some places only had their own booths. Some places were sharing booths and were in multiple booths, like the Hobbit.
It actually decreases costs when you share booths as vendors.
Yeah.
Like it's also nice because you guys get to share food as well.
Some surprisingly enough, some vendors actually went with their own booths. There's this thing close to the artist alley, the NFR, which is all these comic book artists consisting of the 2 biggest names you'll probably know are Bruce Timm and J. Scott Campbell. J. Scott Campbell, because he draws the most attention from them, not because he always has the lithographs, he always has something new, and his art is fantastic, he's now got his own booth.
Really?
Yeah, he just took they used to have this big thing, he literally just took half of it, and it's like, this half is mine, you guys are over there.
Wow.
Yeah, and they call they're like the NFR. I forget what it stands for, but a lot of people are still in the same area. Some people moved.
So really good guess.
Really good guess. The only ones you wouldn't see there are pretty much the niche ones that you would like. Like I had an artist that I really like. He wasn't there for other reasons.
Well, just following the various Twitter feeds and everything, even if they're not a panelist or they're doing a guest spot, you will find a lot of stars that show up there.
Yeah, some people are just there to be there. I remember. I think what was his name? Gene Simmons is usually, if he doesn't have a booth, he's usually there just to be there. I forget what there's another big name celebrity, I can't remember his name. I want to say Dennis
Nathan
Leary.
Fillion was a panelist this year, though.
He's always a panelist every year because Firefly's a really big thing there. I know there's
It's
one
a big
artist
thing
booth that
everywhere.
just has like Firefly art. Firefly is like just huge there. Anything Joss Whedon's huge there.
I think Joss Whedon's huge anywhere.
The only thing that was lackluster, surprisingly enough, I went to a lot of my big thing with there was always the game demos, and the only lackluster place that had game demos was EA, where they only had like computer games. Mainly because most of their other games are in other areas, I guess, but all they had was like Command and Conquer, Battlefield Heroes, and a
FPS.
Warhammer Online expansion.
Oh, okay, so it's not all
Oh.
FPS games.
Come on.
Technically, Battlefield Heroes was a third-person one, so.
Oh, okay.
Come on, EA.
How
You
about-
get enough flack from the internet
How
on
are the
Reddit
cosplayers?
as is. Just
But man,
Do
the
better.
lines are excruciating sometimes. I remember to get to play the DMC, which is a fantastic game by the way, regardless of what you think of the Dante looks, it still plays great. If you like God of War and all that, you'll like that game.
honestly, people started really like God of War because it was just a very tightly controlled and well done Devil May Cry.
Anyways, it's essentially that was a 2-hour wait to get to that demo.
Ew.
I didn't even get to play the Resident Evil 6 demo simply because you had to get it in line for a ticket in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you get into another line to use the said ticket?
Well, no, you come at a certain time, and if you don't come at that certain time, if you're a little bit late, no, they don't let you in.
That's
Oh.
horrible.
And you have to get into a standby line, and if anyone doesn't show up, they send somebody from the standby line.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
Lineups everywhere.
Yeah, it was for a game that was very lackluster. Some places didn't really have a game demo, so like I got to see South Park: The Stick of Truth, which I really loved. I just had to go in. We weren't allowed cameras, so I don't have no footage from it. We were not allowed to do anything. Same with Assassin's Creed 3. The Assassin's Creed 3 one was just more Assassin's Creed from what it was literally the same demo except with director commentary.
Oh.
So it
Which
was,
I think was actually posted on YouTube by Machinima, where...
I'd have to see it, but
okay.
apparently this was supposed to be a con exclusive trailer. It really wasn't in terms of what you got to see.
What about the new Revelations?
Nothing for Assassin's Creed 3. I did get to see a lot of stuff for my new revelations were essentially like how South Park: The Stick of Truth is working, and it is working a lot like an actual RPG. It's essentially you get to play the game is the LARPing episode of South Park. It literally is. All the South Park kids that day have decided to LARP. You get to play a fifth kid. You're a silent protagonist, as with traditional ones. And it's just kind of making fun of all those tropes and everything. It's like, here is your Staff of Sorrow, and it's just like a wooden sword and everything. But you actually get to like fight, and it's like, it's not really random encounters. You actually see them, and you just like run into like enemies like vampire kids and all that. Sometimes you get to do some stuff that's bigger, but it's kind of like they blur which part's the imagination and which part's like real.
Oh,
It's
Which is
pretty. It's pretty awesome, and then there's like all these. There's old South Park jokes, and there's new South Park jokes. Some of the old ones consist of like when you're just idle, and there's just like they don't want to do anything new because you're just idle. So like if you're with Cartman, he's in your party. He'll just start doing the Jewish woman boobs joke. You know, Jubes,
Oh.
the Jubes joke.
Terrible.
But
Oh,
he is
Cartman.
terrible. But then they'll do kind of like new things where if you're picking your name, you get to choose whatever you want. But he's like, so your name is Douchebag, and it's like, no. It's like, are you sure you want to name yourself Douchebag? No. Congratulations, you are now Douchebag. And that was like the whole thing. It's really if you love South Park, which I do, I've been with South Park since the beginning. I've watched every episode. It is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I was in elementary school when it
You
began.
will love this.
We were technically not
I
allowed to watch it as
yeah,
kids.
I know some people were kind of worried about it because Obsidian had layoffs
Yeah.
from this project and their next gen project, but this game's still looking pretty good. It's kind of when they were doing the voiceovers a little bit was kind of janky a bit, simply because it almost kind of it like almost fell out of sync. It almost like delayed a little bit simply because I think it's a game. I don't know. Maybe it's just they need to work on it a little bit more. It doesn't come out till like March 5th, 2013. So
Oh
we
yeah,
have a lot
they
of
got
time
plenty
to
of time
improve.
fix that.
But yeah, I got to see actual gameplay. It was really good. And if you like South Park, if you're into South Park, you'll like that game.
So, okay, this isn't the first time you've gone to Comic-Con, and every time that...
This is my fifth time.
Every time that you've come back, you've shown me on your camera the pictures of the cosplayers you decided to get photos with.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
First of all, I'm fasting, so I can't look at those photos until after dark.
Oh no.
And secondly,
Blah, blah, blah.
How were the cosplayers this year?
I asked this 3 times.
You did.
But you're like, no,
There were
get to it.
fewer.
You gotta build to it.
Yeah.
You gotta build to it.
There were fewer. I'm talking about not the booth babes, but regular
booth babes.
con-goer cosplayers. There were fewer this year, especially in the guy department. There weren't too many guy cosplayers that were just like random cosplayers. In comparison to like women, like there were more women cosplayers than anything at this thing.
I would have thought that after the massive success of the Avengers, you'd have at least a couple.
You know
of
what? There were
cosplayers.
more female versions of the Avengers than anything.
Oh,
They were literally
As
like just
emo.
lingerie versions of the female
Oh,
Avengers.
that's sad.
Oh
I
my
thought
God.
you meant like there's
Oh,
there's Lolita versions of
I saw at least 3 female Lokis.
Stop tempting me, man! I'm fasting.
Some of them
Oh,
were
man.
better than others, but yeah, there were some female Lokis.
So what kind of
I asked
male
the question. I asked the
What kind
question.
of male cosplays were there?
There was there was a lot of steampunk. There was Commander Shepard's, the Lincoln ones. There were there were almost two sides of the extreme. There weren't too many of the in-betweens where it was really, you can tell it was homemade. There was either it's like, how is this homemade at all? It looks like you bought this. Or it's the really simple stuff where even though it's kind of made together, it was, it still looked good. Like the Abraham Lincoln one is really easy to do. It's just like the old coattail suit and the top hat and the beard.
Yeah.
So it was like a really easy one, or it's like a so difficult. It's like, how did you do this? I have to ask. Like there was a few Commander Shepherds where the armor looked really, really authentic, and you gotta wonder whether they were a professional who were provided funds or they really did it.
Question: was there a Quarian?
No, there were no Quarians. As far as I could tell. I haven't, keep in mind, I did not see every cosplayer. I missed a lot. Like, there were a lot outside that weren't even in the con. Like, there was a whole, like, brigade of, like, 20 beautiful Nazi girls who were promoting the movie Iron Sky.
That makes sense. There's a...
Again, with the
It's
temptation.
cheaper, because it's
There
cheaper
was
to
a-
come in.
There was a very nice female assassin who is in the skirt assassin uniform.
They do
Send me the pictures
That-
after 9 o'clock.
That one I didn't get, but I wish I did.
But
I wish
that-
I found her.
That's what people...
Internet, here we go.
That's what
Yeah.
cosplayers do at Anime North as
Yeah.
well. Because it's cheaper for they've already spent so much money making the costume. It's cheaper
Yeah.
to just be outside.
And
Take my photo.
It's also the fact that you have to
Yeah.
transport this thing there, and you can't really transport it back because you got to transport all your swag back.
Yeah.
So and there's a FedEx office there too, so you can actually FedEx everything to your house. Like in the middle of the con, there's like a FedEx office.
That's actually a very
Beautiful.
smart idea.
It is a
need
very
that.
smart, but it needs to be bigger because so many people go to it.
Yeah, we need that here too.
Yeah, it really
My
it's
costume
just
is too
outside.
heavy.
There's like an in between
I
part
will
before
send
you
it to
enter.
myself. That makes
What else was guests? There's
guests.
I can't even tell you how many guests.
Oh yeah,
there
the
are.
star-studded
Which one?
lineup. That's
Yeah.
always
Well, I
good.
guess, like,
Yeah, it's
your
kinda there.
favorite. I guess that you chose to go to then.
I didn't really go to too many of the panels this year. There's only
Okay.
one I really wanted to go to, but I slept in, so I didn't get to go to it.
Oh,
Because the
sad.
thing with panels is that you're right, they do need to have this hour thing where they need to just kick everybody out.
Yeah.
But the only way to get to some panels is sometimes you have to sit through the previous one and then wait till they all leave and you can get up
that's
closer.
okay. That's okay. It's just
But
half an hour
the-
gaps. Are
Well,
good.
we-
There's no gaps.
There's
This
no
it
gaps
literally
at all?
starts right after.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they get like 45 minutes to an hour depending on what it is, and then no
Okay.
gap.
Okay, just as a pro tip for convention people who organize conventions.
Get there 4 days early because that's what
Don't-
the Twilight panel did.
No,
Ugh.
don't base your schedules off of high school where there's no gaps in between. Do the university thing. The universities give you 15 minutes. 15 to 20 minutes between for you to actually
Oh, there's
rush your way
15 to
there.
20 minutes for them to clean up and everything.
Yeah,
But that's
same
about
thing.
it. But
Yeah.
the thing is that
We need our washroom breaks.
Like,
we need to be able to
they
run
can
there.
like these rooms only hold a certain amount of people. There's over
Oh.
200,000 people going to this thing every year.
Yeah.
The thing can only hold, I think their biggest hall can hold maybe 20,000 people
So
at
to-
best.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that the Twilight convention goers from last year weren't all bludgeoned to death in the parking lot on the last day
No,
last
they,
year?
they were there 4 days early. No, there's a lot of them. There's like an army. But
Oh,
anyways,
man.
yeah,
Wasn't there-
some people there were 4 days that they were there preview night. The thing didn't happen till Thursday. Preview night was Monday.
Mhm.
That's how
Oh
early
my
they
God.
lined up some of
It's-
these people.
It's okay. I mean, like, it's the same thing.
Okay, we're not talking about Twilight anyways.
It's the same thing for anything that has a lot of hype.
I mean, this is for
Yeah.
just the panels and everything. There were a lot of them. Like there's always some of them happen at the same time, and there's maybe like 2 you can't go to because they happen
Yeah.
at the same time.
So you're still like.
But yeah,
Yeah. What
I
was-
couldn't really say that there was one I liked.
really liked?
Oh, you know what I
Someone
really
liked
liked?
it.
I got to see not only Nolan North, but they had a signing for the guys for Transformers Fall of Cybertron. And
Transformers.
Nolan North, who's going to be playing Bruticus, was there. The guy who does Grimlock, Greg, I can't pronounce his last name, the game director, and the guy who does Optimus Prime, who has done every Optimus Prime forever, he was there. So yeah, I guess that would be the guest that I really liked. I got to see Nolan North.
So that would be your highlight of the con?
Yeah, that'd be my highlight of the con. Just my mini, just because I'm like I like games and I like Transformers. The game, by the way, is really fun. I only got to play. They only had the multiplayer there. It's just like any other third-person multiplayer action game.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see any of the single player. I hope it's better than the original, than the first game, because the single player was really boring in the first game.
Yeah.
It was super repetitive.
It got there. Yeah.
It got really repetitive,
It got
even
there.
though it was only like 10 levels.
Yeah.
What was the
10 levels twice.
10 levels twice. Yeah.
10 levels twice.
Yeah, but I got to play it was really fun. The only thing is there's a lot of like it's really easy to get into, and it's really easy to pick up on like what weapons are good, what weapons aren't. Melee's useless, for example. There's a weapon where you shoot it out and you have to detonate it. That's useless in this fast-paced game. Infiltrators are amazing. Anything with speed was amazing in that game. I went to that thing like 3 times. You just line up and go in, and it's like 10 minutes to go play it. It was really fun. Transformers Fall of Cybertron, really fun. Yeah, they were showing Deadpool there. That was interesting. Just all of a sudden,
the
the
new video game,
last 2 days, Deadpool shows up.
He's a nice guy.
What was the other
really
things?
well.
There was actually Jesus freaks there on the outside of the con. Just people protesting.
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yep. They were out there as like Jesus died for your sins, and what con-goers did is a guy took his notepad, wrote in it, went right across them, and it's like Captain America died for your sins.
Oh.
And Superman died for your sins.
There's people who do that with Lelouch as well, for Kogias. They just
Yeah.
run around and you're like,
Well,
Lelouch died for you. And then
unfortunately,
well, no, as a counter protest.
they do that.
there was a lot of anime here, but anime's not really like, it's more of like the undertone to
Yeah.
Comic-Con. It's
The
really
same-
mostly
yeah.
it's really mostly comics, DC, Marvel. They're the big fish here.
I'm just wondering.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to go and protest a convention of hundreds of thousands of people, all of whom are fanatically devoted to their to whatever sort of thing, to whatever their obsession is, who all of them, without fail, are all either very well read within their series, are witty, or are at least in contact with wit, and who spend most of their day on the internet. You have woken the freaking dragon.
There's no there's no reason why you can't be a comic reader and religious. It's just
I'm a comic reader and religious.
It's just not the place to go.
Captain America met 2 gods and is still Christian.
Yeah.
That is a great article of faith right there.
Did you know that Baldur anyway?
He met 2 gods and is still
Yeah.
atheist.
Did you know?
He is not just still
Well,
atheist, he made a sacrifice to a Norse god, got to use his magical forge, and he's still an atheist. It happened in Siege. Check it out. Well, no, not
Okay,
Siege.
anyway, like
the one after?
Theater itself.
I think
Yeah.
that there's no reason why you can't be religious and like comics. It's just they shouldn't. I don't know. It's just
But
not
anyways.
the place. It's just not the place to come.
Whatever, it's a Westboro
it's-
Baptist
they
church,
want-
who
they-
cares?
Yeah, like
Uh,
you know what I
the-
do to people like this? I convert them to going to other things. Like I'll be like protest against genocide. Oh, you should go
But it-
to this instead.
But anyways, it was pretty funny. They had like get out of hell free cards. They had kids on blowhorns preaching choir that I'm pretty sure the kids didn't even understand what they were saying. I mean like 8-year-old kids. I don't mean like 15-year-olds.
Or
Yeah.
13-year-olds.
Or 13-year-olds.
Because you get
They're
to
like-
go to a bar
If you
mitzvah.
want an idea of this, watch the God Bless America trailer with the little kid on the TV.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
Anyways, that was kind of a thing. They were there every morning. A lot of the stuff is also out of the con, like games. There's some game trailers not in the con. History Channel had a cookout right beside my hotel, which was right across the street from
That's
the
pretty
con.
cool.
But just as a
Was it aliens?
just as a disclaimer.
No, it was
yeah.
a free cookout where you get to go in, you get like half a hamburger, and you get to go back in and get the other half a hamburger.
That's
Well,
nice.
just as a disclaimer, as we have nothing like against churches or religions and whatever
He's
whatever
fasting.
you may believe in, right?
Yeah.
He's fasting. But like, I think that if like Christian groups wanted to come to the convention to like do Christian things, they should come on
Okay,
Sunday.
well,
Just Sunday. All
the
the
thing
Hold
is,
on, hold
don't
on, hold
insult
on,
people.
hold on.
Yeah.
L. Ron Hubbard, the Scientologist guys have a booth there. They have a booth there every year with all L. Ron Hubbard novels.
Hold on.
I'm just gonna say that right now.
Look, even Scientology, whatever objections you want to raise with it, and whatever objections you want to raise with whatever faith, I realize that they're there and everything, but understand this, so long as you're not insulting other people, I have no problem with you. And really, no one should have a problem with you,
Yeah.
and nor should you be insulting people. In Dundas Square in Toronto, there's always this guy with a megaphone
Oh, I
saying,
love this
praise Jesus, and
He's
all
a-
of this stuff, and you
he's
should
such a
convert
nice
to
guy.
Jesus and everything. And he's like genuinely a nice guy. He's fairly laid back and everything, and he's just like telling people he wants to save people's souls. That's his belief,
Yeah.
and that's fair. One day I was there, he wasn't, and there was a younger man there and what got me was that on a megaphone in the middle of the crowded Dundas Square, he was shouting out that if you are an evolutionist, you make yourself a racist and a sexist.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
First of all, have you read the Bible? Secondly, have you seen Christian history? Thirdly, are you aware of what the papal policies are towards black people and women? Fourthly, why are you insulting people to try and get them to convert?
I mean, the first guy was doing it right. If you come to a convention doing what the first guy did, that's okay. No one will mind you.
Well,
the second
no,
guy, if you
you-
come to a convention
The
doing that,
people that
no one
mind
will like it.
the people
No
that
one.
mind people saying maybe you should convert and everything and going about it like the first guy, you know what? If you have a problem with that, you kind of have a non-issue. I understand your objection, but like, come on.
But anyways,
Really?
we're getting off topic.
We are getting way off topic.
Way
but,
off topic.
hi.
Back to Gandalf.
Back to Gandalf. Vendor rooms, obviously the biggest thing there. Every booth is a vendor room. Every booth is trying to sell you something.
But
Yeah.
Some things are worth it. Some things aren't. What else is?
Well, we did your highlights.
yeah, we got highlights. Where did you go specifically? Like,
I went literally. I traveled everywhere. Sometimes you have to go in between the aisles in order to see little things because some people only have like a 3x3 square.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What was a really cool thing? I mean, I went to a lot of the big stuff, like the Halo 4 one, which is another hour and a half wait to play Halo 4, which,
Oh
by
my
the way,
gosh.
was more Halo.
And then.
It's been successful the last 5 times.
Anyways, what else was there? Can't remember. I think my biggest surprise there was just seeing that they had a thing for Stick of Truth. Just because I didn't think there was going to be a thing there for a game that doesn't come out till next year.
Oh, it's
that.
nice. It sounds like you
Yeah.
did have
I did have a really good time. It is, you really have to be the master of the push and shove.
Oh.
Some people, there are some people that, there's no people that don't like the video camera or like pictures, but I mean, if it was like really like, it looks like you're trying to take a picture and steal something, that's when they'll have an issue.
Yeah.
They'll make it very clear they don't want it, like the Stick of Truth thing was in a housing little thing that they set up.
Yeah.
And they said like, there's no video or cameras or you'll be escorted out. So you know, like
Yeah, which is the
usually
proper
that's,
way of doing it.
it's the proper way of doing it, but unfortunately, like, you still can't take pictures of, like, there are certain celebrities there that unfortunately charge, and they'll actually cover up their face if you try to take a picture of them, unless you give them money.
Though I will say Nathan Fillion went about it the right way. He had these fun little cards saying, I know you want to take a picture of me or get me to sign something, and I apologize, but my paneling duties don't afford me the time to. However, you can say that you got to meet me and shake my hand. This card is proof and I will back you up, and it's got his signature on it.
Yeah, I
And he
saw
was-
that.
And he was giving it out to people and everything as they were coming out to him, which was very nice on him.
Well, yeah, that's good on his part, but
I tip up my hat
unfortunately,
to you, Nathan Fillion.
like, some guys like Lou Ferrigno don't do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of guys there. There's a lot of really great deals there, especially on the Sunday when everything's like 50% off because
Yeah.
they want to lug everything back.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
So yeah, most of it's trying to sell you stuff. All the autograph stuff is on the second floor,
Wow.
and it's really like, I think Red Letter Media called it the celebrity zoo. It's like everything that you could think of, like that describes. It's literally like you just place old celebrities there, like the little person from the original Total Recall,
Yeah.
spelled with a C, not a K, like I saw in the trailers for the new one.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's like a lot of that,
Yeah.
and you know, pay
I-
20 bucks
I-
for their
I-
autograph.
I kind of felt bad because when I went to Fan Expo, you have little bits of that where you have like the sectioned off autograph area. The year that I went, they had the actor that played Worf on The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. There, and he had like a handler standing behind him, and he looked like such a broken human being.
What's a handler?
Basically someone to make sure that he's there, being nice to everyone, and
Yeah,
that
Oh,
things
we
don't go-
have we didn't have that for the
You don't
or,
want a
or they
lot
didn't
of
do
them.
their job properly because when my like people working with the vending booth with me, right? They went to go see what's the actor that plays Draco Malfoy.
Ah, yes.
Oh, we know who you're talking about, but yeah.
They were lining up
The
to
guy that's
see
a jerk in every film he's in.
they were lining up to see him, and then there was this middle-aged woman in front of them, and she pantsed him, and we're like, isn't there people to stop people from doing this
She
to the celebrity?
pantsed him? Really?
Yeah.
Why did that not hit BBC News?
Because they obviously hushed it up. So they were like, so everybody in the lineup were like in shock. They were like, oh my gosh, she wasn't there to take a photo. Nobody took photos. Everybody, I guess maybe it's a Canadian thing. They're all too freaked out. They're like,
Or maybe they're all just, they realize what just happened and they
went to
know
shock.
how to react properly.
No, they went into shock. Everybody went
What did
into
he say?
shock.
What did he say?
He was in such shock that when the girl in the booth with me, right, when she went
How
up
long
to
did it take
she
him
didn't-
to de-pants himself?
her picture of him does not have his autograph. He was in shock. She just has the picture, and then
Oh.
the girl behind her, which is her sister, has with the autograph.
Oh
It's like-
wow, she got to that really bad moment. where,
Yeah,
oh,
and then she
she's
didn't
too in shock to
realize.
do anything.
She didn't realize because she rushed back to
Oh.
the booth. Her sisters like came back right after because we
Oh.
rotate two
That's
people.
terrible. Why would
Yeah,
you do that?
there's never really anything like that. There's like 3 different security departments
Oh my God.
all over the con.
So
Well, that's because you have a better turnout than a meeting of the G20.
Well, they're everywhere, man. Like, people go to certain booths for signings. There's one booth that is literally, it's like at least 20 feet. It's literally just paid signings
Yeah.
from, like, characters like Kevin Sorbo, like all those
Yeah.
actors who used to be in TV shows that aren't in TV shows anymore.
oh, he's great. He's Hercules in my heart. And that
But-
Andromeda thing, but you know.
And that Andromeda thing.
And he was one of the Spartans in Meet the Spartans.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he was.
Which no one saw coming, and that was fantastic in the theater. That was the highlight of that film for me.
But anyways, yeah, there's lots of little things like that. It's hard to really encapsulate because it's basically a place where there's something for everybody.
Which is
There's
nice.
yeah,
which is
there's a
wonderful.
little something. There's a Lego booth. There's the obviously got the big companies like Mattel.
Oh, Barbies. Everywhere.
I'm sure there's a place where you can buy Barbies. There's a guy who literally sells like old DVDs of like old TV shows,
Oh
like
my
the Men in
God.
Black series.
Oh,
Nice.
There's people who sell.
Fun
There was
series.
one booth that sold like all the old cartridges for Game Boys and N64 cartridges. A lot of the places,
It's
one
like
of the
a flea market with class.
It is a flea market with class,
Hey,
and one of the
flea
biggest
markets are
things is that the places where you can buy like costumes that are like replicas from other costumes are there. Like one place was Pendragon Leather,
Yeah.
where you can buy like the Farscape jackets that they have.
Yeah.
Their sizes are different though, I gotta say, because I like put on a medium-sized jacket.
And you were swimming in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to really try on the stuff.
I'm an American small, and in Canada I wear medium to large depending on the cut of the t-shirt.
Yeah, well, like I mean, t-shirts there. I'm like a double XL right here
Pro tip.
for both, but yeah.
Pro tip for buying clothes. Every company has a different sizing chart.
Same with shoes, by the way.
Same with
Anything
shoes.
you wear,
Yeah.
really.
Anything in the United States, if you're from Canada,
Not
it's
even
actually going to be a
States.
step up. Even your
Even
portion
Europe.
sizes. When you order something
Anywhere.
at a restaurant,
Yeah.
order one item.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Their portion
That is-
sizes are ridiculous.
That is quite true. A lot of the things, like if you walk outside the mall, a lot of places will have like special things for con goers.
And balls.
Which is nice.
There's a lot of bars. It's the downtown area. Essentially, there's a lot of club scenes around there.
I don't go to any of these things.
You don't go to any of these things.
Like I was just sitting in the artist alley, and I was like, oh, maybe I should.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you've got a table.
And then like
Yeah.
when I worked in the vendors room, it was the same thing. Like basically we have one person with a car, and we're like, you
Yeah.
get this, and everybody writes up what they want. And he's like, I'm going on an adventure, and he takes them with me around.
And it's also, I was gonna say, there's really kind of a division when it comes to signing. Some people will sign whatever, no matter how much you put in front of them. They will sign everything. J. Scott Campbell's really good for that. I remember a guy came at him
my
with like
gosh.
a stack of like 20 comics for him to sign that he did the covers for.
Wow.
And he did it. He signed every single one of them.
Yeah.
While some places will only do like one and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't know
And-
why I hate on Fan Expo so much, but I'm sorry guys, but you guys do it wrong all the time. Yoshitaka Amano wanted to do more signings. He was unhappy that he was only allowed to sign one object per person. People brought in like their like art. He's, by the way, he's the concept artist for Final Fantasy. All the logo art in all
Yeah.
the games,
Mhm.
him. He's the guy who does it. So people are bringing in like like all these old games that he did the logo art for, right? And they want
Well-
his signature. He was only allowed to sign one thing, and he had a time limit. He was incredibly unhappy.
There are certain reasons for it, and unfortunately, the reasons. This is like the simple solution. They don't want to think of a better solution for it. But one of the reason my friend, he was the one who got me the autographs of like Brudikit, the guy.
The
Bill
Transformers,
North.
yeah.
They were only allowed to do one thing. It was either the poster that was in front of them, or get them to sign one personal item.
Yeah.
Only one personal
Yeah.
item. And one picture if you could. But you weren't allowed to like, can you please do the voice and could I record it for like a ringtone or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
Aw.
They were gonna do it like once on like the microphone the guy had, but that was it. But that was because they were in the demo area of like 4 other games, so
But-
they had no choice, and they had to keep the lines moving because a lot of these places are really close together, and that's one of
Yeah.
the things they can't just give out freebies because when they start doing that, it becomes absolute chaos because
But,
people
yeah.
will run and grab everything just because they think it's worth something.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that is the major reason. It's not because I want this, because I really like the thing. I remember last year Expendables did it, and they just started giving out T-shirts, and people just wanted this T-shirt could be worth some money.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't because it's like, I like the Expendables or anything. It was-
Yeah,
it was-
which really is it just doesn't make sense if you're
Yeah.
going to a convention because, in all honesty, if you really want to do something like that, go to a Games Workshop during their birthday, buy a bunch of the limited release things that they have there, like the armbands, and sell that. You buy like an armband from them for $7-8, you can sell it online for $20-40
But I think that
just because it's a limited release.
I think that like what I've
And GW fans will pay for it.
like I guess like from some of my like favorite guests that have come in right for conventions. Have you heard of the guy who sings Gao Gaigar? It's a really old like robot anime. He came in for Anime North one year, but what he did was he didn't care what the personal object was. He would just sign it. Like and some people were actually didn't realize that like their item might have been a bootleg, but like the voice actor he didn't care. He was like I'm glad that you like my work, even if it's a copy, right? You appreciate my work, so he signs it. He just signs it, no problem.
like I said, there's
Tim
Nice.
Burton's not like that. He refuses to sign anything that isn't bought at his booth.
Oh my gosh!
He's a
Yeah,
massive
there's-
jerk for that.
There's a lot of, and there's a real hard division between them. Like,
Yeah.
there are some places, like I said, Jay Scott will do everything, and he'll even go to the lines like, please just bear with me. I'm just signing things. It's gonna take me a while, but I will get to everybody.
Yeah.
Promises.
What?
And he
That's
will.
beautiful.
He really does that. I mean, obviously they do have to sell some things. Like when I got the prints from Greg Horn, one of the artists I really like. He gives you the plastic hardcover, but he charges $5 for it.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what I wish.
Because he buys it retail from the booths that are there that sell it.
Yeah.
What I wish is that like okay, you know how like people make fan art of voice actors and stuff, right? Like in Japan, there's a thing called like a doujinshi convention, right? That's literally I guess translates something to like fan convention. So it's all fan art and stuff. But if they get guests that are voice actors, right? You can bring in your fan art of the guy. He'll sign it, and then you can frame your own artwork.
That's awesome.
And
Pretty good.
over here, that doesn't happen. They're like, oh, you're breaking copyrights, trademarks, etc., so on and so forth. You
Oh,
can't do
whatever.
that.
Well, it's because there's always that one guy that ruins it for everybody. I mean, that's essentially the way it works.
That's how it works everywhere. But I do believe we've been talking for about an hour.
Yeah,
And,
But we'll break this into multiple parts. You will feel the hour.
well, no, you can't say that. This will be the last part. Well, whatever.
Oh, fine. You haven't felt the hour.
Anyway, we're feeling the hour.
I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it for our 3 conventions coverage on Buzz Banter today. I'm Das Hat,
I'm Sam.
I'm Maya.
and we will see you when we see you. I got it!